Already know how to identify angles formed by a transversal. We are going to look at parallel lines that are cut by a transversal. When you have parallel lines, they create some relationships between angles. So let's look at those. In this diagram, angles 1 and 2 are both same side above the lines. They're corresponding angles. They are congruent. So let's also look at 3, 4, and what we would say is angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, angle 3 is congruent to angle 4, and in fact angle 5 is congruent to angle 6, and angle 7 is congruent to angle 8. Note that angles 5 and 2 are vertical angles, so they are also congruent. So 7, 8. Alternate interior angles, they are also congruent. You've got 1 and 2, and these are 3 and 4. So angles 1 and 2 are congruent, angles 3 and 4 are congruent. Just a reminder, alternate interior angles are C. And while we're at it, just one of the tricks people use is for corresponding angles. This is kind of like a C, and one of the angles is in the C and one of the angles is above the C, if that helps you. Okay, alternate exterior angles. They are on the outside of the lines. They are on alternate sides. So you've got angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and then you have, if you look at this angle, you have 3 and 4. So you have angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Alternate exterior angles. Consecutive interior angles are also known as same side and this time if you try to sort of see, then the consecutive interior angles or the same side interior angles are both within the C, and this time the difference is that they are supplementary. So what we would write is measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals 180 degrees, and on the other side 3 and 4 are supplementary. So measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 4 equals 180 degrees. Just a reminder that angle 2 and 4 are a linear pair. Angles 1 and 3 are also a linear pair. You will see that angles 2 and 3 have the same number of arcs, and actually they are alternate interior angles. So we could have applied alternate interior angle theorem to them if we were asked in another problem. Same side exterior angles are also supplementary. Instead of being within the line, they are outside the lines. So let's work a few examples here. You are given lines ABC are parallel and you need to solve for X and Y. So we will use the relationships that we know to do that. And what I like to do is I like to identify the one set of parallel lines. So I'm going to just look at this set right now. So one set and look at one transversal. So let's just highlight this transversal in a different color. Well, that was not so successful. Okay, so yellow is my transversal. Ask yourself, what is the relationship between these two angles, the 5x minus y and the 150? Well, I know that they are consecutive interior, so you really need to know your angle relationships, and consecutive interior are supplementary, so I can go ahead and set up the equation. Oh, a little problem here. Well, here is the problem. The problem is that I've got two variables and one equation. And if I have two variables, I need two equations. So I am going to turn my attention now to the other set of lines and the other transversal. So let's try that. And okay, so look at lines B and C and the green transversal. The green is transversal, and some of you might see this better if you actually extend the transversal, because you're used to seeing the transversal as a line. So over here we now have 5x plus y 130 equals 180, and these are both consecutive interior angles. Okay, you can, when you have systems of equations, you can solve them by elimination or substitution. So let's look at the first equation. We can rewrite that as 5x minus y is equal to 130 degrees. Sorry, not 130, but just 30. And the second equation we can write as, so that's that one. And this one we can write as 5x plus y equals 50 degrees. And just to be accurate, these are all okay. Now what we can do is, if I look at equations 1 and 2, add the two equations. The reason is there's a negative and a positive, and you'll get 10x equals 80 and x is equal to 8. So if x is 8, then what is y? So you can go ahead and substitute that back in equation, the very first equation, which is 5x minus y plus 150 equals 180. X is 8. So that gives you 40 minus y plus 150 equals 180. Combine like terms. That gives you negative y plus 190 equals 180. And that gives us that negative y is equal to negative 10, so y equals 10. So our two answers are x equals 8 and y equals 10. Let's just go ahead and highlight those. And you should work this example out for yourself so you know exactly how to do it.